just wanted to ask you about forward guidance and the RBA review. So is it right to say that the RBA was not issuing forward guidance back in 2019 and that it was first implemented during COVID around March 2020?
So the very explicit forward guidance that was issued during the pandemic was a first for us, I think would be fair to say.
Okay. So is it a correct characterisation of the board's future guidance from 2020 to 2021? The board was saying under no circumstances would interest rates increase for years?
I can't remember the specific words, but my memory of what the Governor was saying on behalf of the board was that interest rates wouldn't increase until inflation was sustainably back in the band, and he didn't expect that would be until 2024. That's my memory of the general statement.
Okay, the RBA review, I think, says that calendar-based forward guidance was abandoned in November 2021. Does that sound right to you?
No, I think it was later than that.
A year later.
So 2022. Okay, so when was the last time that there was forward guidance given in that way?
I'd have to specifically take that on notice. I don't know when the last time that sort of 2024 date was actually spoken.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's sometime in 22.
Yeah, late 2022, I believe.
No, it would have been late 21. We started increasing interest rates in May 22, so it would have been prior to that.
Yes, we got those dates incorrect. So when you said the review said late 21, I think that actually was accurate.
Okay, so you could provide that on notice?
Yeah, we could provide that on notice.
Okay, thanks. Well, given the issues with forward guidance that were canvassed in the review and by your predecessor at this committee, I think a number of people have misinterpreted forward guidance and obviously have made judgments based on that information. So do you think generalisations about forward guidance without caveats was a mistake or a misjudgment?
I would argue that the forward guidance was given with caveats. It was never given definitively. It was never promised. There was never a promise that interest rates would not go up to 2024. It was always caveated.
Okay, so your view is that it was conditional forward guidance?
Yes, it was always conditional. It was always caveated by inflation back sustainably in the band.
Okay, but as you say, you'd need to be perhaps more of an insider to be following that information.
No, I think the statements were extremely clear.
I've got it here in November 2021. The board will not increase the cash rate until actual inflation is sustainably within the 2 to 3% target range.
It was very, very clear, in my view.
Okay. Obviously, politicians will look at what the RBA Governor says and will quote that. So the Prime Minister did that in February 6, and he said that, you remember at the time, the then Reserve Bank Governor was saying the interest rates would stay at 0.1%. And similar statements were made at the Press Club address around late January. So politicians often won't provide the caveats. So does this give rise to a concerning misrepresentation of RBA forward guidance, or is this inevitable?
All we can do in that particular circumstance, all we did was provide the forward guidance which we felt was necessary given the dire circumstances of the Australian economy at the time and the world economy. And that was the context in which that caveated advice was provided. We can't control unfortunately, what others say, and obviously it would be better if, when this forward guidance had been issued with its caveats, that people had carried the caveats.
Okay. So what was, just for the record, so what was the main caveat, do you think?
The caveat was that interest rates wouldn't increase until inflation was sustainably back in the band, and we didn't expect that on current forecasts to be till 2024. So the caveat was that if inflation was sustainably back in the band before that, then the implication was that there would be room for interest rates to go back up. Because recall, they were at emergency low levels.
Okay, so if someone says, you remember at the time that the Reserve Bank Governor was saying that interest rates would stay at 0.1%, I mean, that is a statement without caveats, isn't it?
That is a statement. If you say that it stays at 0.1% until a particular date, if that's the statement, that doesn't have caveats, but that is not what the Governor of the time said.
Yeah, so that is unhelpful, isn't it?
If the media, whoever, doesn't put the caveats on it, then that is unhelpful.
Okay. Did the April 22 and May 2022 cash rate decisions make it clear that inflation was a concern?
Well, May 22, you'll recall, was the first interest rate increase, and by that stage, yes, it was becoming a concern, and it was becoming a concern overseas as well. And in fact, some countries had already started to increase interest rates.
So did the May 2022 statement by Governor Lowe make it clear that the expectation was the earliest inflation will return to band was mid-24?
Sorry, this is May 20...
The May 22 statement? We're just...
Might be testing your memory there a bit.
Yeah,
we're just having a look at it. Inflation is picked up.
Expected to decline back towards the target. By mid-2024, headline underlying inflation are forecast to have moderated to around 3%. So it noted it was above target at the time, and it was expected to come down gradually and be around the top of the range by mid-2024.
Yeah, so, I mean, would it be reasonable to say that the RBA was not flagging or forecasting future rate cuts back in May 22?
No. in May 22,
we're saying the opposite. This will require a further lift in interest rates over the period ahead.
Because recall, that was the first one, and there was another 4 percentage points to come.
Okay. So the policy now is that there is no more future guidance as has been given in the past, is there?
Forward guidance was given in very dire economic circumstances. We did a review of the forward guidance along with a number of other of our unconventional monetary policies. And our view is that state-based forward guidance is an exception for very extreme circumstances, effectively. And at the moment, no, we are not giving state-based forward guidance.
Okay. And if you did in future, your hope would be that people would take any future guidance with the caveats and present it in full?
I think that, yes, but secondly, the hurdle to give date-based forward guidance, I think, is very high. So I think in the current circumstances, it's always going to be state-based forward guidance rather than putting on dates.
Okay.
And that's what we're effectively, most central banks do around the world.
Governor, just before I share the call, there has been, some discussion around communication coming out of the Reserve Bank. Certainly, Dr. Lowe came here and made statements about, as I recall, improving communication. It was, part of the review, and the statement on the conduct of monetary policy, I think, goes to some of those improvements around communication. Where do you see that sitting now? Do you think that communication around some of the issues that the Deputy Chair's raised, could have been improved? Do you see the RBA, engaging with communication now as a result of the review and the statement on conduct? Are you engaging differently now?
So it's a journey. We've taken some steps already. So you'll recall that I did a media conference after the decision, and I will do one now after every decision, and that will be 8 times a year. So that's one step. We've changed the statement on monetary policy quite significantly to make the themes much clearer up front, hopefully easier for people to drill down into it, so those who want to just hear the main messages in a simple way can engage with it on the website. Others that want more detail can dig down, so I think that's positive as well. There's more transparency in forecasts, as has already been pointed out, which I think also goes to communication. But there's more we can do, and we are in the process of setting up a communications department now, and with more senior staff involved. We are looking at ways to more proactively engage with the media rather than reactively. So there's still more things to go, but I think our aim is to try and be clearer in our communication, to be making sure that we are engaging not just with a narrow group in our communication, but that we've got different ways we can engage with different parts of the community. So it's a journey, and we're still working on it.